All right, so let's jump right in. Today, we're going to be looking at business automation. How to figure out where automation can really make a difference in your business. We've got a great source for this deep dive. It's called Identificare le aree critiche del tuo business, which, if you don't speak Italian, means identifying critical areas of your business. And this source, it's packed with practical advice. So think of it like a roadmap to figuring out where to start with automation, to get the biggest impact.
One thing that's really cool about this source is that it really emphasizes being strategic about automation. It's not just about automating everything.
So not like replacing ourselves with robots entirely.
Not quite, no. It's about being really selective and focusing on the areas where automation can really, shine. It's kind of like you wouldn't use a hammer to screw in a light bulb.
Right?
Yeah.
Makes sense. So how do we figure out which tool is right for the job, so to speak?
Well, the source suggests that we start by really understanding what automation is and what it can do for us. It's not just about fancy technology. It's about using technology to make things run smoother, faster, more efficiently.
Like having a super efficient assistant who never takes a break.
Exactly. Like imagine your e-commerce store automatically sending a personalized thank you email with product recommendations after each purchase. That's automation working for you. It frees you up to focus on other things. The source highlights benefits like saving time. And we're not just talking about a few minutes here and there. Studies actually show businesses can save hours each week.
Wow, that's huge. Time is money, as they say.
Absolutely. And then there's reducing errors. Think about all those manual tasks that are prone to human mistakes. Data entry, order processing, scheduling, automation can take those over, minimizing errors and boosting accuracy.
And fewer errors means happier customers,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And happier customers lead to more sales and better reviews. It's a win-win. The source also talks about how automation can help you scale your business without getting overwhelmed. Because as your business grows, those manual tasks become even more daunting, right? Automation lets you handle that increased volume without adding more staff.
So it's like having a system that grows with you, taking on more responsibility as you expand.
Yeah.
But how do we actually figure out where to start? Where are those critical areas the source keeps talking about?
This is where the real deep dive begins. The source, it walks us through a process of mapping out our business processes. And it starts with a really simple task, just listing out every single thing you do on a regular basis.
Okay, so grab a notebook and start brainstorming.
Right.
Everything from answering emails to packing orders to posting on social media.
Exactly. Once you have that master list, the next step is to identify the repetitive activities, the ones that eat up your time, but don't necessarily require a ton of creativity or brain power.
Oh, I'm already thinking of a few. Sending out those weekly newsletters, responding to common customer inquiries, even scheduling social media posts. All things that could potentially be automated.
You're getting it. The source uses a great example here. An e-commerce entrepreneur who's basically drowning in order management and customer emails. It's a classic pain point for a lot of businesses, especially those experiencing rapid growth.
Yeah, I bet that entrepreneur is wishing they had started automating sooner. So, repetitive tasks, check. What else should we be looking for?
The source also emphasizes pinpointing bottlenecks in your workflow. Those points where things slow down or get stuck.
Like when you're waiting for approval from a manager before you can move forward with a task?
Yeah.
Or when you have to manually transfer data between different systems?
Exactly. Those are prime candidates for automation because streamlining them can have a ripple effect, improving efficiency throughout your whole operation.
Okay, so we've got our list of tasks. We've identified the repetitive ones and the bottlenecks. Now what? How do we actually decide which of these are worthy of our automation efforts?
That's where the concept of ROI comes in. The source stresses that not every task is worth automating. We need to focus on areas where automation will yield the highest return on investment, the biggest impact for your effort.
So it's not just about automating for the sake of automating. It's about being strategic and making sure our efforts are actually paying off.
Precisely. The source actually gives us some really helpful criteria for figuring that out. How do we identify those prime automation candidates? First up, we've got those time-consuming tasks we talked about. If something is eating up, a big chunk of your week, that's a major sign that automation might be the answer.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm all for reclaiming some of those lost hours. So what else?
Next, think about those high-volume processes. The more often you repeat a task, the more potential there is for automation to save time and reduce errors. It's like a snowball effect. The more you automate, the greater the impact.
Okay, so if we're doing something over and over again, it's probably A good candidate for automation. Got it. Is there anything else we should be thinking about?
Yeah, think about the impact on your customers or your bottom line, like activities that directly affect customer satisfaction or revenue generation. Those should be at the top of your automation list.
Yeah, those are the areas where even small improvements can have a ripple effect
Mm-hmm.
across the entire business.
Exactly. And finally, we need to consider whether a process can be standardized. If there's a clear set of rules or steps you can follow, it's much easier to automate.
Okay, so we're looking for tasks that are time-consuming, high volume, impactful, and standardizable. That gives us a really solid framework for deciding where to focus our automation efforts. But let's get a bit more specific here. The source highlights several key business areas where automation often makes a big difference. We're talking about marketing, sales, operations, customer service, finance, even HR. It feels like almost every aspect of a business can benefit from some level of automation.
You're absolutely right. The possibilities are pretty vast. Let's start with marketing. It's an area where automation has really taken off in recent years.
Oh yeah, I'm particularly interested in this one because I know a lot of small business owners, they wear multiple hats
Mm.
and they struggle to find the time for marketing.
Exactly. And that's where automation can be a lifesaver. One of the most common applications is email marketing. Instead of manually sending out individual emails, you can set up automated welcome sequences or drip campaigns that nurture leads over time.
So you're basically creating a system that sends out targeted emails
Mhm.
based on like specific triggers or actions. That sounds way more efficient than trying to manage everything manually.
Much more efficient. And then there's social media, another time-consuming aspect of marketing. That can be significantly streamlined through automation. Imagine being able to schedule your social media posts in advance, ensuring a consistent flow of content without having to be glued to your phone all day.
Oh, that would be a game changer. No more late night tweets or scrambling to come up with content on the fly. What about like analytics? Can those be automated too?
Absolutely. There are some really powerful marketing automation platforms out there. They can track your campaign performance and generate reports automatically. They can tell you which campaigns are performing well, which ones need tweaking, where your audience is most engaged, all without you having to manually crunch the numbers.
Okay, so we're talking about saving time, reducing errors,
Yeah.
and gaining valuable insights,
Yeah.
all through the magic of marketing automation. I'm sold. What about sales? Where does automation fit into that equation?
Well, think about lead generation. You can automate the process of capturing leads through forms on your website
Right.
and automatically adding them to your CRM.
So no more manually entering data. We're trying to keep track of leads in spreadsheets.
Exactly. And once you have those leads in your CRM, you can automate the follow-up process as well. Imagine sending out targeted email sequences to nurture those leads, provide valuable information, and guide them through the sales funnel.
It's like having a virtual sales assistant working 24/7, ensuring that no lead falls through the cracks. This is really making me rethink how I handle sales. Now, what about the operation side of things? I have a feeling there's a lot of potential for automation there too.
You're right on the money. One area where automation can make a huge impact is inventory management. Automated systems can track stock levels, reorder products when needed, and even manage shipping and fulfillment.
Well, that's a game changer for e-commerce businesses,
Hmm.
especially those dealing with a large volume of orders.
Absolutely. And even brick and mortar businesses can benefit from automated inventory management, making sure they have the right products on hand at the right time.
So we're talking about minimizing waste,
Hmm.
preventing stockouts, and ultimately keeping customers happy. I like it. What about order processing? Can we automate that as well?
Definitely. You can automate tasks like processing orders, generating invoices, and updating shipping information.
So the entire order fulfillment process, from the moment a customer clicks buy to the moment the package arrives at their doorstep, could potentially be automated. That's pretty incredible. What about customer service? I know that's an area where a lot of businesses struggle to keep up.
And yet, it's one of the most important aspects of any new business. Automating certain customer service tasks can dramatically improve efficiency and customer satisfaction. For example, chatbots are becoming increasingly popular for handling common customer inquiries. They can answer basic questions, provide support documentation, and even escalate issues to a human agent if needed.
I love chatbots. They're so helpful. And they're available 24/7. It's like having a virtual customer service rep always on hand.
Exactly. And what about responding to emails or social media messages? That's another area where automation can save a ton of time.
Are you telling me I can finally escape the endless cycle of email responses?
Well, not entirely. But you can definitely streamline the process. You can set up automated responses for frequently asked questions or common issues. This frees up your customer service team to focus on the more complex or sensitive inquiries.
So we're talking about automating those initial interactions,
Mm.
providing quick and helpful responses, and then letting humans step in when needed. It's a great way to combine the efficiency of automation with the personal touch of human interaction.
Precisely. And it's not just front-end customer service tasks that can benefit from automation. You can also automate things like ticket routing, making sure inquiries are directed to the right department or agent.
That makes a lot of sense. No more customer inquiries getting lost in the shuffle. All right, let's move on to finance. I have a feeling there are some prime automation opportunities there, especially for those of us who aren't exactly numbers wizards.
You're absolutely right. Think about tedious tasks like invoice processing, expense tracking, even payroll. Automating these can save you countless hours and reduce the risk of errors.
That's music to my ears. I'd much rather spend my time on, like, strategic thinking than crunching numbers.
And that's exactly what automation allows you to do.
What about generating financial reports? Can we automate that too?
Of course, a lot of accounting software programs offer automated reporting features. You can set up customized reports to track key metrics, monitor cash flow, get a real-time view of your financial health.
So we're talking about automating those repetitive, data-heavy tasks and then using those insights to make better business decisions. Now, what about HR? Can we bring some automation magic to that department too?
Absolutely. Think about the onboarding process for new hires. You can automate tasks like sending out welcome emails, providing access to employee handbooks, even collecting necessary paperwork.
That's a great way to streamline the onboarding experience and make new employees feel welcome from day one. What about other HR tasks? Can we automate things like performance reviews or even payroll?
Well, performance reviews can be partially automated by using systems that track employee goals, collect feedback, and generate reports. And as I mentioned earlier, payroll can also be largely automated with the right software.
So we're talking about automating those administrative tasks. That can really bog down HR departments, allowing them to focus on more strategic initiatives
Mhm.
like talent development and employee engagement. This has been so eye-opening. It feels like we've just scratched the surface of what's possible with automation.
We have. And the beauty of it is automation is constantly evolving. New tools and solutions are emerging all the time. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's talk about how to choose the right tools for the job.
Yes, because there's so many options out there. It can feel a bit overwhelming. Where do we even begin?
The source offers some excellent guidance here. The first step is to clearly define your objectives. What are you hoping to achieve with automation? Reduce task completion time, boost customer satisfaction, lower operational costs.
Yeah, those are all great questions. It's like with any tool, you need to know what you're trying to build before you pick up the hammer.
Precisely. Once you have a clear understanding of your goals, you can start evaluating the available solutions. And there are plenty of them out there, each with its own strengths and weaknesses.
I've seen a few mentioned in the source, like HubSpot for marketing, Salesforce for customer relationship management, and Zendesk for customer service. Those seem like pretty robust tools.
They are. Those are excellent examples of specialized tools designed for specific business functions. And then there are more general automation platforms like Zapier and Make, formerly known as Integromat, which allow you to connect different apps and services together, automating workflows across your entire business.
So you could have like a new lead automatically added to your CRM, a welcome email sent out,
Mm-hmm.
and a task created for a salesperson to follow up, all without lifting a finger.
Exactly. But it's important to remember that the best tool really depends on your individual needs and preferences. There's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Right, one size doesn't fit all. So how do we figure out which tool is right for US? I imagine budget is a big factor for a lot of small businesses.
It is, and thankfully a lot of tools offer free trials or freemium versions. The source actually recommends taking advantage of those whenever possible. So you can test out different options and see what fits your workflow best. It's kind of like taking a car for a test drive before you commit to buying it.
That's a great tip. I'm a big fan of trying before you buy. But even once you've chosen your tools, the idea of implementing all this automation can still feel a bit daunting.
It's understandable. The thought of overhauling your entire operation can be overwhelming, but the source actually advocates for a more gradual approach to automation. Start small, learn as you go, and gradually scale up your efforts.
Okay, so baby steps, not just leaks. I like that. It feels much less intimidating that way. So where do we begin?
The source suggests starting with a pilot project. focusing on one specific process or task. That way, you can test and refine your automation system before expanding it to other areas of your business. It's like a dress rehearsal before the big show.
That makes sense. So pick one area, automate a specific task, see how it goes,
Hmm.
and then adjust as needed.
Yeah.
What about getting our team on board with all this automation? I imagine there could be some resistance to change, right?
Yeah, that's why it's so crucial to gather feedback from your team.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole process, are they finding the new system easy to use? Are there any unexpected roadblocks or challenges? Their insights will be really valuable in refining your automation processes and ensuring a smooth transition. Remember, automation is supposed to make everyone's lives easier, not harder.
Right. It's about working smarter, not harder, and about making sure that our team feels empowered by technology, not threatened by it. It's
Exactly.
about creating a collaborative environment,
Yeah.
where everyone feels involved and invested in the success of the automation project.
Exactly. It's a team effort. Now, to really bring all this to life, the source shares a couple of real-world success stories that highlight the power of automation.
Ooh, case studies. I
Hmm.
always find those so helpful because they show us how these concepts actually play out, in the real world.
They do. The first case study focuses on a small e-commerce business that was really struggling to keep up with email inquiries and order processing. Sound familiar?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We've all been there.
Well, this business decided to implement a chatbot to handle those frequently asked questions. And they also integrated an automated order management system, and the results were pretty impressive. They saved a whopping 20 hours per week, and they saw a significant improvement in customer satisfaction.
Wow, that's incredible. It just goes to show that even small businesses can reap huge benefits from automation.
Absolutely. And it's not just about time savings, it's about improving the customer experience as well. The second case study highlights a marketing professional who is having a really hard time tracking the performance of their campaigns across multiple channels.
Yeah, I can relate to that. It's so easy to get lost in a sea of data when you're juggling multiple platforms.
This marketer decided to implement a centralized automation platform to pull all their data into one place and generate automated reports. And from there, they were able to gain a valuable insights into their campaign performance, make more data-driven decisions, and ultimately optimize their ROI.
That's so smart. It's like having a bird's eye view of your entire marketing operation. It really highlights this strategic advantage of automation.
Exactly. So these case studies, they really show that automation isn't just about saving time. It's about working smarter, gaining valuable insights, and ultimately driving better results for your business.
I'm convinced. But as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's important to address the elephant in the room, the fear that automation will replace, human jobs.
It's a valid concern, and it's one that the source actually acknowledges. But it's important to remember that automation isn't about replacing humans altogether. It's about augmenting our abilities, freeing us up to focus on higher value tasks.
So it's about finding that right balance between human ingenuity and technological efficiency.
Precisely. The source actually highlights the importance of upskilling and reskilling the workforce, to prepare for the changing demands of the future. Because as automation takes over those repetitive, mundane tasks, it creates opportunities for humans to step into, more creative, strategic roles.
So it's not about jobs being lost. It's about jobs evolving.
Exactly. Think about it this way. If a machine can handle data entry, that frees up a human to analyze that data and extract meaningful insights. Or if a chatbot can answer basic customer questions, that allows a human customer service rep to focus on more complex issues that require empathy and problem-solving
It's
skills.
about leveraging technology to empower humans,
Mhm.
not replace them, and about preparing for the future of work, which will undoubtedly involve a blend of human and machine collaboration.
Precisely. And that's what makes this whole conversation about automation so fascinating. It's not just about technology, it's about people and about creating a future where technology enhances our lives and empowers us to do our best work.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. So to our listeners, if you're feeling inspired to explore the world of automation, remember,
Start by analyzing your business processes, identify those, prime candidates for automation, and then choose the right tools for the job. Don't be afraid to experiment and iterate. And remember to bring your team along for the ride.
and most importantly, never lose sight of the human element at the heart of it all. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of business automation.